Hello, hello. We'll wait a couple minutes so people can filter in.
I'll be right back.
All right. As people are coming in, I'm going to put the link to the Padlet into the meeting chat. And if you could, please just go in here and introduce yourself in the chat, just your name and the organization or company that you represent. You'll see, it should come in just like that. All right, as we start today, I know that we don't have a lot of time, so we are going to jump right in. So thanks so much. My name is Leslie Darty. I am the head of design programs at the Education Design Lab. So part of my job is really to think about all of the different projects that we're working on at the lab, and ensuring that the human-centered design approach continues to be at the center of all that we are doing. So specifically, as we think about this project, and we've already talked a lot about, right, accuracy, equity, and really that human-centered design piece to it. So as we think about being co-designers in this with the other humans and stakeholders, wanted to spend some time jumping in. And for those of you who, I don't know if you can grab the Padlet, if you just came in the chat, you can grab it there. We're asking you to intro yourself, but from there we wanted to ask this question. So how might we, right, as interested parties, as potential partners and advisors within this project, how might we ensure that this project in the future phases are rooted in a human-centered design approach? So jump into the Padlet. You can also say things out loud. 100% cool with this group. So just thinking about that, and as Colin mentioned, as you're in there, if somebody else puts something that you want to comment on or have a question about, go ahead and put that in there as well. You'll see that in this final piece right here, there is a parking lot for additional project questions. So if you do have additional questions that are coming up about this project, please feel free to add that there. Questions? I will let you all spend some time there. I think that this is so important as we connect and talk with various stakeholders. And that really leads us into that next question. As you're thinking about this, who are the various stakeholder voices that have to be present, right? We think about that as we co-design, right? At the lab, we talk about ourselves as co-designers. So we are working directly with those that are most proximate, right, to this problem. And we're, reflecting on the personas that Naomi talked about, our military learners, those that perhaps may be looking to upskill within their current situation. So as you think about that, like, who are additional personas or the various stakeholder voices that must be present, right, as we continue to think about this project and really what success looks like in this project. for the humans involved. Mm. What about this question over here? What does success of this project look like for those most proximate? So as we think about our learner earners, and I see some big L earner learners of those is, definitely a term that the lab uses to signify, right, that people are always learning, but they're always earning when it comes to different skills and different types of experiences that could be used within the context of what we're talking about today. So what does success look like for them? And yes, Minzy from the lab is also here. And so if you're having any problems accessing the Padlet, please feel free to drop anything into the chat and she can convert that for you as well. As you're all thinking about this comment about identifying the incentives and benefits for individuals, I'm interested to know, are there some assumptions, right, that we who are invested and excited, and looking at these, are there some assumptions that we are already making or that we can make around the incentives and benefits and what that might be and what those might be? And if so, is there a way to add some comments down here within that part of the process, of course, of human-centered design is continuing to test our assumptions with those that are most proximate to the problem, with our learner earners. So interested as you think about some of those assumptions within those incentives and benefits, if we can start calling some of those out to test.
Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. This has been with Calbright College. I think, when I'm thinking about that piece you called out regarding identifying incentives, and I think, there's a broad assumption that the products out there, the current tools that's out there doesn't work for everyone. And I think it just needs to be made plainly clear, like who these tools currently do not work for and then why. So like, for instance, like I'm looking a couple columns over when we say, who is most proximate to the problem, clearly identifying that. And so I know part of the presentation, there was like some personas that were presented,
Oh,
clearly stating, for those specific personas, what is the problem.
mm,
Will help then think about, the incentives and benefits for those who, when we think about human centeredness and rooting, their voices, clearly making that alignment so that we don't make assumptions here.
mm. Yeah, that that's a really good point, and I appreciate you bringing that out. And I'm wondering, if we could, capture that. And I think, right, it's in this continuing connecting, but again, we make some broad assumptions, right? And so, how might we bring that and specifically touch within these learner personas is so important, and then continue, right, to expand, who those learners are, right, as we deeper understanding about how they are. The word I'm looking for, uh, their own experiences within this in this area. I saw somebody else come off mute. Didn't know if anybody wanted to
Hi,
add to that. Hey.
this is Kimberly Levine Hinkley. I'm the Director of Community Care Ecosystems at WGU, and I wrote the identifying the incentives and benefits for individuals.
Mhm.
I think one thing that's been challenging about some of the LER pilots, and I'm part of one of them, is that right now, most of what we're talking about is conceptual.
Mm.
And we hope that this will all roll out the way that we want it to in the future, that we will be able to have a system in which individuals are able to use their verifiable skills-based or academic achievements to connect to quality employment opportunities in a way that is less biased than the system that we currently are in. And I think that not enough information is out there and directly written for individuals on what this is, why we are doing it, and how it will benefit them in the future. It's part of the work that I'm hoping to do within the community of care LER work at WGU. But I think that that's going to be really significant. So for instance, what is the benefit to participating in an LER pilot right now while you are not going to be able to gain an employment opportunity? Why is it helpful? How are you helping the future of how people consume education and make choices related to their careers by participating? In Seattle at a GA conference last fall, Michael Collins from JFF made an incredibly insightful statement about how we have to be careful who we're testing on, because nothing we are doing right now there's no proof around the outcomes that we are expecting related to the work that is happening at this moment. So anyway, I think that it's important for us to be extremely clear on where we are and what the potential benefits are in the different phases of the work. And sorry for talking for such a long time.
No, no, not at all. I'm just writing down some notes as well. Yeah, and I'm wondering, Kimberly, within your current work, if you're doing any, and I'm guessing you are within that with WGU, any sort of research around sort of how even learners are reacting to some of the language that we use.
Yeah, we did some focus groups last spring, I think. I have to go back to look at them, where they reacted to the concept of a digital wallet and the ability to accept a credential. Because we have a pilot. Like, there are a number of digital wallet pilots out there, so I think some of these focus groups are really helpful. I'm not familiar with us testing some of the language we're using, and the assumptions that we're making yet. So I think that that would be something extremely helpful here.
Mhm. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you. I know we got the 2-minute warning that's coming. And so, again, as Colin talked about, that this Padlet, as well as the other Padlets, are going to remain open, for the next couple of weeks. So not only for you to continue adding your thoughts to this and reading others' comments, but to be able to have the opportunity to go into other ones as well, and read what others are saying and thinking and feeling when it comes to this. If there are additional questions that you have about this project, please feel free to add those to this Padlet, or that question, the parking lot question, exists on all 6 of these Padlets. So whether or not it's project specific or even just clarification as you have the opportunity to explore other Padlets, please feel free to do that. I know that this was quick, and I appreciate all of you not only choosing this breakout from the other 5 wonderful topics that were available, but for really helping this project in the lab think more intentionally about how we can ensure that our human-centered design process is embedded in every single phase and step and conversation that we're having when it comes to experience you. So thank you all so much. Any questions or last minute, things to put in, please do so. And we will see you all back in the main room in just a second. Thanks all. We'll get kicked out of here.
Thanks, Leslie. Thank you, Minzy.